Hi, Sag. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for February. Doing things a little bit differently this month because the first few readings were an absolute shit show disaster. Mercury retrograde is kicking my ass. So we had to kind of restructure, do a couple different things. Not able to be in the videos this month, but hopefully by the March videos, I'll have all of these issues solved. Hopefully. In the meantime, hopefully I can give you some decent messages and some hope for March. I'm sorry. And I didn't mean that. That maybe was a Freudian slip. I'm going to give you some advice to get you through February because the truth is the good stuff comes in March and April. We've got some really beautiful months ahead of us, and sometimes there will be days in February where it's pretty much all we got. Now, I'm looking at these cards, I'm looking at your astrology, and I'm thinking, well, Sag doesn't have it too bad, right? These are third house, sixth house transits. Super mental, okay? These are all mercurial ruled houses, so you can expect a lot of mental activity. You could probably expect a level of intensity. There's a lot going on in your mind, and it's actually starting to become a physical manifestation as well in the sixth house. This is oftentimes stuff that is pent up that, if not taken care of, can kind of come out into physical illnesses, even, ailments, diseases ultimately. So it's good that we're getting these things out, but it certainly isn't easy, and these transits certainly aren't easy. No one has it easy, and nobody's really going to get out of this. Much like 2020, remember I told you that whole conjunction in Capricorn in the beginning in January of 2020, I let everybody know that most likely everyone was going to feel that, and for sure everyone in all different countries even have gone through this tremendous period. And 2021, and specifically February, a lot of stuff is going to come to a head, come to a climax. There are breaking points. So if things get rough, if things get hard, if you feel like you really can't take any more, please know that once we start getting all of these energies that are built up in Aquarius in your third house, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, and the moons will start to creep into that fourth house Pisces space, along with Neptune. And I think for a couple months, we get to have a soft landing. So you're going to have to kind of grin and bear February. And thankfully, it's a short month. Now, looking at these cards specifically, Sag, you are coming out as a messenger of water. I really love this because I love how she seems so focused, so encaptured by this thing. And I feel like there's probably a thing, like a big theme in your life. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a job. But there's definitely something that kind of has your focus. It could even feel a little bit obsessive. Now, maybe there's part of you that's searching for answers. Maybe there's part of you that's trying to figure out how you feel about something. And maybe there's part of you that's trying to figure out how to express the feelings that you're having. Maybe there's a part of you that's trying to understand why you're feeling the way you are at all. And your environment card is that of the card Temptation. Now, this is the Devil card in regular tarot. Card number 15. And I look at these two cards together, and I look at how this messenger of water, this seahorse creature that she seems to be so captured with, And I feel like you are probably being pulled in a couple of different directions. I think there's probably elements of you where there's kind of a tug of war between the head and the heart. What do I want? What do I need? What's good for me? And what do I love? And there's a heaviness, a weightiness to this messenger of water, which tells me that it's not about the decision, it's about the emotions behind it. There's something very impactful about the things that you're deciding at this time. Now, I do know, let us not forget that you are hosting the South Node. And whenever a sign is hosting the South Node, there's always a release. And I know this because I'm a Capricorn and I hosted that South Node for 2 years and I had to let go of a lot of things. Some of them I feel benefited me in the long run, although it was hard, although it felt at times like I couldn't do it. Some of it was just the fear. It wasn't even actually giving something up. It wasn't releasing anyone or any particular thing. It was just releasing the way that I thought about a lot of things. And there seems to be somewhat of an undoing. Now, your first card out is that of the Sun. This, of course, indicates that all things are good. Things are working out in your favor. There's something very vulnerable and free about the Sun card, and it feels very aspirational. You know sometimes how we can kind of distract ourselves? We could get lost in the fantasies. Oh, well, I'd be happy if I had $1 million, or I'd be happy if I had a house out in the woods or a high rise in a city. I'd be happy if I can go to this school, or if I had that job, or if I drove that car. And that's kind of a reminder that that happiness that we want, we desire, is always just a little bit away. It's just out of our reach. And I feel with the Sun card here, as if you're starting to meet your aspirations with some hardcore honesty. And I think that's what the Seven of Swords is saying to you. Now I see the Seven of Swords and I see the Devil, and those two cards together, even in and of themselves, does indicate self-sabotage. Now this could be behavior that you are aware of. Maybe it's overindulgence. Maybe it's some negative habits. Maybe, maybe you're not feeling so good and yet you keep eating that thing, or you keep drinking that pop, or, you're relying way too much on coffee even though you know better. Obvious self-sabotage. Sometimes the self-sabotage is trickier. Sometimes the self-sabotage is the fear itself, and sometimes we are actually afraid of achieving the things that we truly desire. Sometimes we just become so comfortable in the wanting that we don't know how to operate in the having. And when our ego starts to sense that we're about to get what we want, we immediately have to desire something else. And the thing is, the Justice card comes out right after that. And so it is a promise that in February, in this 3rd house, 6th house transit, You're going to see things for what they truly are. The Justice card, it represents truth. It represents fairness. I also think that there is a feeling, and I don't know, maybe this is just intuitively, there is a feeling or I can't quite find the words to express it. It just kind of feels as though there are things that you love, and yet you don't invest fully. You know, this could be that job that you love. This could be that person, that partner, that best friend, these people that you truly, really love, and yet you don't invest. There could be a million different reasons why. Maybe you just don't have time. Maybe you're focused on other things. Maybe people don't really understand that, and so they feel as though you don't want them. And I think justice is going to be kind of the inevitable consequence of the actions. Justice usually means there's an uncomfortable lesson, and we're definitely in that uncomfortable zone with the Saturn-Uranus square. Third house, sixth house. We're facing up against some really deep mental patterns. Maybe deep down you don't feel worthy of love. Maybe deep down you don't feel deserving of that job. Maybe deep down there's something going on that makes you not truly want to fully grasp this happiness, this freedom that seems to be dangling kind of right in front of you. And that Seven of Swords is a real bitch, honestly. I never like when the Seven of Swords comes out, because most of the time, the Seven of Swords, even if we want to blame it on someone else, even if someone else stole from you or somebody else lied to you or deceived you in some way, most likely there were signs, most likely there was red flags, and you ignored them, right? Self-sabotage. And whether you are pretending like you don't really want or need the thing that you truly love and desire, or if you are pretending to really truly love and desire something when you don't really want to be there at all, inevitably there is consequences. The universe always corrects itself. And you know, I know that we always talk about like that whole manifestation thing, like you get, you know, what you focus on. But I also think that sometimes we don't really give the universe enough credit. Like the universe knows how to get you to move. Spirit knows how to get you to step out of your comfort zone. Remember, always way smarter than we are. And sometimes we just got to see things a little clearer so we can correct the behavior. And the weird thing is there's so much happiness, there's so much joy, there's so much forward movement. Look at all of this yellow on this end of your cards. There's like so much ambition and drive. And yet there is some deep-rooted emotional stuff going on down here, kind of at the core, and it's kind of in the corner of the reading where you can't really get to the next place until you go here. One of the first things that jumped out at me at this reading was out of the 9-card block, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcanas. It's funny because I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, well, you have all this Aquarius stuff in your third house. Third house, not such a bad place to host this stuff, right? You might kind of skirt out of this unscathed. And this is certainly not unscathed. This is a lot of stuff happening. And I think for some of the signs, we've got a lot of stuff going on internally. For some of the signs, it's kind of external stuff. For you, it's both. And I think it's about breaking free so that you could truly dream. Because the universe wants you to be here, right? The universe wants you to be in this place of surrender. Look, surrender to the divine. Full moon. Sometimes we can't really get to this place until we've reached a level of emotional rawness and a level of curiosity. Okay, well, the universe is going to take this stuff away. I've got to think of the next thing, right? And I think there's a pull between moving on to the next thing and actually moving on. And I think on the surface, right? On the surface, you are clearly ready to go. The Sun card, the Chariot, and the Strength. Strength being at the very core. Chariot in the center. It's like forward motion, full steam ahead. Things are moving. I'm not so sure that you realize that. Because here in the present, there's a little bit of things being stuck. Yeah, I want that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go there. Let's do this. And there's progress. There's actual movement. But in the center card of the 9-card block is 3 of Wands. And this is a place of wanting. This is a place of desire. This is a place of making the plans and yet them not getting here yet. And I'm super drawn to the way that these two people here, one is looking forward and the other is looking in the other direction. And I'm wondering if you aren't looking in two different directions. I'm wondering if you aren't really torn between the thing you want to do and the thing you know you should do. And maybe for some Sages, you feel like you've wasted a lot of time. 7 of Swords, you've wasted a lot of time, you've wasted a lot of energy, you've wasted a lot of your resources, and you kind of want your life back. And the Sun has to become your priority. This happiness has to become your priority, which means you have to stop doing the devil temptation kind of stuff. And I feel like this is Sag just saying, I don't want it to be like this anymore. I don't want the days and the weeks and the months and the years to go by like this anymore. I want to start doing what makes me happy. I want to start achieving my dreams, even if they're silly, even if it's just to travel, even if it's just to have more personal time. There is freedom being sought. Maybe that freedom is being in a healthy, happy relationship. Maybe that freedom is something entirely different than adventure or anything fancy at all. And I just feel like you start to see the things that are happening. You start to see 6th house can be a tricky house. You can deal with some tricky characters, people that are taking advantage of you, people that are, not valuing you. And I think the 3 of Wands is an adjustment period. It's a reevaluation of what do you want and what do you need. But underneath this Justice card is my Eight of Cups. And that is not an easy card. Eight of Cups is not an easy decision. It is with a heavy heart. It is the knowing that you have to move on from one phase of life, from one chapter, from one story, from one person, from one experience, because there is simply more. And let's not forget that the Strength card, when I see it, and it comes up a lot, and we have all of this energy in Aquarius, right? And reflecting off of that Aquarius energy is that of Leo. Strength is the Leo card. And I just feel like you are being driven to go to new places, to have new adventures, to do new things. And yet there are some deep fears. So it's kind of that area of life where you don't want the things that you currently have don't particularly know what you want next either. Now the good news is we've got the Seven of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Three of Cups. And threes are always really productive for me. Also, oftentimes means there's support, there's divinity, there's, that extra leg. And I do think that you are being supported this month. I think that you have people close to you that you could be grateful for. Maybe that's just one person. Maybe that's a group of friends or family members, and like I said, we're looking for that soft landing. And when things start to move on in the next couple of months, you are going to find those soft spots. You're going to find those soft landings. And the leaving, the things that you have to leave behind, the things that you're moving towards are something really special. And I just get the feeling like there's just got to be more than this. There has to be something better than this. And the Star card does indicate all of this Aquarius energy, which is that of healing and hope. It also carries that hint of destiny, which means all of this was supposed to happen so you could figure this stuff out, so that you can move on successfully. And it's all part of the process. And that's what I've been saying in all of these readings. Every single one this month, it's just all part of the process. You're being asked to change. You're being asked to ascend in a lot of ways. And for you, this is very real. Like quite literally being asked to move forward in a new direction. For some of you, that direction might be somewhere in your past. And for some of you, life is changing so drastically that you might be leaving behind some of the fancy stuff. I don't know. We have this card, All That Glitters, down here, card number 16. kind of facing off with the Sun card over here. And I just feel like there's an old version of you, like this version of you that wanted all of these fancy things, like the big house, a nice car, you know, the PhD or the master's degree or whatever that big thing is to you. And you work and you work and you work towards all of these goals, and maybe a lot of them you obtain, and yet you may find them somewhat empty and disappointing. And there's that constant search for more. Well, this didn't fulfill me the way I thought it would. Let's try this. This didn't fulfill me. Maybe I need this vacation. Maybe I need another class. Maybe I need this. Maybe I need that. And I think maybe what you're truly searching for is yourself. Is accepting who you are without all that stuff. Now I say that because there's a couple of things going on over here that I was particularly drawn to. You got Venus and the 8th house, endings and beginnings. Now, of course, Venus is all about love, right? If this is a relationship, your focus is probably that of a partnership. And there could be some sort of an ending or a transformation in a relationship, of course, but Venus also rules our money. She rules the things that we truly love and desire, our values. Our values are very feminine. It's the things that we protect, the things that we love. And it feels as though there are some major transformations coming up in your life in regards to this. Maybe there's some Saggies there that are really wanting just a simpler life. Maybe you signed up and you went to school and you did all of this work and you work all of these hours. When you get to a certain point where you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work all the time. You know, some of us, all of us, at some point or another realize what a slave we are to the system, right? Of course, you have to keep working because there's always something more to want. In regards to relationships, of course, you can't settle down because there's always something else to want. And I think ultimately, this is a lesson in loving the things that you have, loving and appreciating the simpler things, which means there's not a lot of effort or work that you have to do. And I feel like this isn't about the relationships when you have to work to, impress somebody. Somebody should love you regardless of the job that you have or the car that you drive or the house that you live in. This is a realization that it has very little to do with any of that at all. And I say that because here we got soulmates, and the bottom of the deck is all that glitters. And look at this, the fate card underneath right next to the Star of Card, which is my destiny card. Maybe some of you are prepared to go on a journey or a trip or go off to school or take a job far away. Maybe some of you have to leave a love behind. For some of you, it's not going to be easy. And for some of you, you might really start to question why you're doing these things at all. And I think that's what you have to do this month. And it's going to be different for everybody. My goodness, I just realized that both these cards kind of has this weird face looming over them. Look at, there's two things, and then the face here and a face here, similar to this 3 of Wands and this 3 of Cups. Sag, there is so much support for you. You are being supported. If there are things you are losing this month, it is a blessing. If you are losing that big corporate job, if you are losing a relationship, it is a blessing. if we're losing anything this month, it's because the foundations were not strong. And Saturn-Uranus square means that yes, we want change, yes, we want growth, but it has to be the right kind. It has to be something that's going to fit for the long term. It's not about making us instant gratification kind of happy. It's about long-term, big picture stuff. And to that I say you better listen to your heart. The Seven of Swords is all this thoughts in your mind that says, I have to, I have to, I have to, I have to. I'm going to make all the logical good decisions. But sometimes it removes that compassion, it removes those emotions, and it tells you that your feelings don't really matter. And quite honestly, Sag, it feels like your feelings really do matter. It feels like your emotions are going to become a much bigger part of this story as this month moves on. All right, Sag, I will not be coming back mid-month for the love readings. I will be dropping in to do a couple pick-up piles throughout, and I will also be doing, try to keep everybody updated on the astrology. Like I said, it's a big month. So I will be back in some capacity, and as well I will be redoing the videos that kind of came out crappy. If you were trying to listen to any of those, the audio is horrible. I didn't realize it. So I'm going to try to retape those. Otherwise, I will be back for your March reading, guys. I love you so much. Take care. Have a great month. Bye.